Hi, I'm Ishani KP. I'm a regression therapist, clinical hypnotherapist, and I also a family consultator. I do a lot of coaching related to any issue. It may be physical issues or relationship issues or career issues related to finances or any physical issues also. Now today I'm going to talk about what is regression therapy, because a lot of people are not really aware of what actually happens at the regression therapy. Now we are mind and body. Mind consists of thoughts and emotions, energy and emotions, and body is the physical reality of us. So our mind is the intangible part and the body is our tangible part. Each reflects the other. So whatever we have in our mind shows up in our body, or in other words, in our physical reality. And the other way around is also true. So before anything comes up in the body, it will be in our mind long before that. Example, in your childhood, your father might have told you to be a doctor. And maybe that was the father's wish that he wanted to be and he couldn't. So, you are following his wish because you love your father or you hate your father. In either ways, you want to satisfy him. So, you became the doctor. Or you saw your uncle doing so well as an engineer, and so you decided that you also become an engineer. All of these are thoughts started at childhood and will become our reality later in our lives. Sometimes these things won't work for us. Maybe you are a good person as a designer, but you ended up being a doctor. Then you can never be at your highest potential. Then it feels that you are in someone else's shoes, as if you're leading a life of someone else's. This will show up as illness in the body, or as aches and pains, or as bad relationships, or failed career, and as if having a bad fate, etc. We store all of our experiences as in images or events of good or bad, and also the conclusions and opinions in our memory. And the mind interprets these images and forms as perceptions and responses. So every time when we encounter an event or a situation, our subconscious mind checks the stored memory and brings out a perception and responds accordingly. Since all of these are subconscious, we are not able to make up why we are having these kind of responses, or why are we behaving as what we are behaving. Regression is all about going back in time to the source of the problem. The source event and experience may be in the childhood event or some images that we don't even relate to our life, as if they're someone else's experiences. We call these as past life experiences. Sometimes it may be even our ancestors' experiences, which is coming through the DNA. So during the regression process, when we regress to that time and relive those events, understand what happened at the time, why was there this kind of a situation, was there any other choices we could have made, and also to convince our mind that it was in the past and it's all over now. Something changes in our body and in our mind and in our lives when this happens. Even these changes are subconscious, hence the body illnesses change and our situation seems to change. People around us seems to change because we have changed our perceptions and our opinions. We should not give so much importance to the past life story as a story, but we need to understand how that is affecting the current life and how it can be changed. So the reliving the past life again in our memories is relieving, and that will address at the cellular memory. However, awareness and the knowledge is the liberating factor for the current situation or the problem we are facing. Once this awareness comes, we have to make appropriate choices and actions in our life. Whatever we deal with the past, it's very important to act in the current situation to make different choices in our lives. Sometimes, how this works is you might be taking a medication for your illness. Once doing the regression therapy, the medication starts working very well and heal you faster. Or once you do the regression therapy, the body illnesses can actually vanish totally. Or you might get a proper doctor diagnosis so that you can heal faster. The process of regression, you will have to address the source. This source may be childhood, then we call that inner child work. If the process involves addressing the source at some other lifetime, we call that as past life regression. The process where you see your ancestors' unfinished, undigested trauma, then we call that as ancestral healing. There are many more where regression is used. So regression is going backwards in time. One example is a lady who had a chronic cough problem right from 9 years, when she was 9 years old. When we regressed, she saw her parents made her stay with the grandparents because her parents were in a village and the grandparents were in the city. And she felt that the parents abandoned her, or precisely the father who was supposed to be giving her security and making her feel safe, she felt he didn't do it. And she told herself that she will have to do everything on her own now because there is nobody to care for her. So this caused a lot of respiratory issues because she couldn't express all of this to the grandparents. And she also felt very insecure feelings in all her relationships later in her life. On the positive side, she became a go-getter and could learn everything on her own and to be very good in that too. So once we did this session, immediately the 30-year-old cough just vanished permanently. Another case is another person had a fear of standing on the stage, addressing the crowd, teaching. So when we regressed, he went into a time in Germany where he was teaching pilots. He was a trainer for the pilots. And one of the students crashed a plane, and that time the trainer told himself that he does not want to teach anyone because everybody are stupid and dumb. After this session, this person started doing workshops of his own. When we did an ancestral healing to a person, this person's property, which was not being sold for more than 4-5 years, got sold within a week. The story was there was an ancestor of his who was telling him that land feeds them. They were the landowners, and it's not right to actually sell the land. So we had to convince the ancestor in turn, we were convincing the person's mind that it's okay to sell the land because the time is different now. And it was also, by selling the land, he could actually have a good flourishing life and grow in life. So our lives are layers of experiences and perceptions and conclusions we have drawn throughout our life. We will have to do several sessions to peel these layers until we reach the source, the core issue. Once the source is addressed, the problem will very easily vanishes. And there are many people in this world who have done amazing work, like Freud, Jung, and Maurice Netherton, and Hans Tandem, and Brian Weiss, to name a few. They may call these kind of therapy in their different names, but they all regress people to that time where the problem got created. So that's the source of the problem. And also, they say that 90 psychotherapy is equal to 1 regression therapy. It is so powerful. So, I have found that regression therapy gives lot of quick resolution. However, it is very important to take actions and different decisions in our lives. Now, these actions and decisions can be based on a different awareness when we do the regression therapy. Thank you.